Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode on deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. Hope everybody's having a great night. June 22nd, July 22nd, not June, my bad. Definitely starting to get in the thick of things, starting to see some playoff races getting tight. Trade deadline right around the corner, so things will start heating up. Trade deadline usually starts heating up 72 hours before, so it should be getting really good. But right now, definitely going to talk about the Red Sox, but let's go straight to the Red Sox right now. Going to talk a little Red Sox on their franchise record 15th win earlier today. Little Dodgers-Phillies series, Game 3. Rubber match is going on right now. And couple trade deadline preview before next week. Red Sox really turned around their season. Was tied for it was when I did my notes was 14 games, but they obviously won the first game of the doubleheader today over the Orioles, down 3-0 in the top of the fourth. But hottest team in baseball. Now a 15-game winning streak in the second game of the doubleheader. Longest since 1948. I don't know where it was. One shy of tying franchise record. So they tied franchise record was set in 1946. How they turned it around just a few weeks ago. Boston was sitting in last place in the AL East and well below 500 since early July. Everything started clicking. I mean, if you look at the standings, Red Sox at one point were like 14 back. Now they're only 6 back. Offense has become one of the league's most productive offenses. Starting rotation has consistently worked deep into games. Bullpen has protected late leads. Defense has cleaned up mistakes. The combination has transformed the Red Sox from an afterthought into a legitimate playoff contender. One key contributor would be Wilyer Abreu. Has emerged as one of the biggest catalysts during the streak, delivering timely extra base hits and earning American League Player of the Week honors. Also relieved steady production throughout the order, while the pitching staff has consistently limited opportunities. What was at stake today? They tied the franchise record of 15 straight wins, set a new club. Looking to set a new club record if they can win today, which they're coming from behind for 16, and continue climbing the AL East standings. The Red Sox have gone from one of the baseball's biggest disappointments to one of its biggest success stories. 15-game win streak has reignited that fan base, pushed them firmly into the postseason race. Some stats during this 15-game win streak. Runs scored, 72 runs scored total, averaging 4.8 runs a game. 30 runs allowed, giving up 2 runs a game. Run differential is plus 42, plus 2.8 during that time. Team ERA 2, team batting average 270. Swept the Angels, White Sox, Mets, Rays, going for the sweep of the Orioles. Some key offensive numbers. Wilyer Abreu, 250, has been, had a massive two-run home run game against the Rays. 250, 14 hits, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. Cedon Rafaela, 288, 19 hits, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. Jared Duran, not so much. Caleb Durbin, who was struggling to start the year and has been struggling for a while, started turning it around. Clutch with runners on base, including the 2-run RBI in their 5th straight win. Jake Bennett improved to 6-3 with 5 2/3. That was earlier today. Let me see what that was earlier. Jake Bennett was earlier today. Yeah, 5 2/3. and the resurgence of Aroldis Chapman. 23 saves on the year. Leaders in the clubhouse: Will Abreu at 5 home runs, Duran 13 RBIs, Will Abreu 14 runs scored, Cedon Rafaela and 18 hits. What's fueled this streak? Balanced offense, timely hitting rather than relying on solely on a home run. Players like Wilson Contreras, Caleb Durbin, Jared Durant, Cedon Rafael have all delivered key hits. Strong starting pitching. Boston has consistently got quality starts, including excellent outings from Sonny Gray and Jake Bennett, and that reliable bullpen closer Aroldis Chapman, 23 saves on the year. They were sitting well below 500 in late June. They surged back in the American League playoff race and tied one of the most celebrated records in franchise history. Several players have been central to Boston's 50-game winning streak. Jared Durant, spark plug at the top of the lineup. Cedon Rafael, one of the hottest hitters on the team. Will Abreu's much of the power, including a 2 home run game during Boston's 12th straight win. Caleb Durbin consistently delivers with runners and score on base. Jake Bennett continues to impress in his rookie year. Veteran ace Sonny Gray anchored this rotation with dominant starts during this streak. Aroldis Chapman has been locking down the ninth inning. What does this mean? What is this, in my opinion, if anybody's, wants to chime in for the Red Sox? Going into late June, even early July, there was a handful of Red Sox that might have been on the trade block with, Sonny Gray, with Aroldis Chapman, who could get you a return, with Jared Durant could get you a return. That has totally shifted and taken some guys off the market. I wonder what the Red Sox are going to do. But I think, with this current win streak with the Red Sox, it's definitely shifted the trade market, because going into late June, early July, there was a handful of Red Sox that would have been shipped to teams in playoff races that need it. It obviously thins the market down, so we're definitely going to see some overpays. But let's see what it is right now. Right now, the Red Sox are down 4-0 at the end of the first. Well, I said fourth, but I was way off. Moving into probably the best series of the week, Dodgers-Phillies. Phillies took the first game 10-7. The series opened up with some serious offensive showcase, and Philadelphia landed bigger punches. What happened? Phillies jumped out early on the Dodgers, never trailed. Trey Turner powered the offense with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Mookie Betts hit a 2 home run. Dodgers couldn't slow down Philadelphia's lineup. Phillies collected timely hits. This was game 1, 10-7. Dodgers showed they can score, but inconsistent pitching and inability to get big outs prevented the comeback. Game 2 was complete opposite, a low-scoring battle dominated by the pitching staff. And I'm going to get the stats. It's 2-1 right now. 2-1 Phillies right now. Justin Wabowski delivered 6 1/3 of 1-run baseball, continuing his breakout season. Max Muncy broke the game open with the 2-run home run in the 4th. Pretty great pitching performance by Zach Wheeler, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. He struck out 9, one big mistake to Muncy, proved very costly. Tanner Scott escaped the ninth inning, a ninth inning jam to preserve the victory. Stranded runners in scoring position. Also, if you saw, it was a game-ending double play where JT Realmuto looked lost on the base path and couldn't figure out if he should stay at third, with Justin Crawford getting caught up from third to home. Realmuto, being a baseball player, Realmuto, you just need to move to third to that stay on third base. It doesn't matter. I don't know what the heck he was doing running back to second. Key takeaway from that game, the Dodgers relied on elite pitching and timely power to even the series. Should be a solid, 2-1 right now. Phillies on the mound for the Dodgers is Eric Lauer, and against Aaron Nola, who's looking pretty good. Key takeaways for the Dodgers today would be key for the Dodgers: keep Shohei, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Max Muncy producing at the top of the lineup. Give Eric Lauer an early lead and avoid falling behind. Continue the strong bullpen work to secure the win. Key for the Phillies, they need to get Aaron Nola. If Aaron Nola can get back on track, this is a really dangerous team. This is an NLCS type of game we're seeing right now. I think this is a game that could really get them on track. And, we see, obviously, Christopher Sanchez, one of the best pitchers in baseball. That's a guy you throw out one. Zach Wheeler's starting to look really back in form. If you could get Noah going, generate more traffic on the base path against Lauer after being held to just one run, and lean on the heart of the order, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, to provide early offense. Can the Dodgers win another series against NL contender on the road? Will Aaron Nola bounce back? He's looking really solid right now. Is Nola 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 3 Ks? And can Trey Turner stay hot right now? A little before we get into some whip around, before I get into some early trade deadline, because we're going to do a trade deadline show next week. But, we're at that point where we can talk about it right now. Just a little whip around the MLB. 0-0 Yankees tied up in the top of the third. 0-0 Pirates. Dodgers down 2-1 to the Phillies. Twins tied up with the Guardians in the third. Rays 1-1 against the Blue Jays. Orioles top of the second up 4-0 against the Red Sox. Braves up 1-0 against the Padres. Earlier today, Pirates beat the Yankees 5-3. Red Sox beat the Orioles 6-3. Brewers beat the Mets 4-3. Royals beat the Giants 5-4. Nationals beat the Rockies 8-0. Diamondbacks beat the Athletics 15-5. Reds beat the Mariners 5-3. And the Cardinals beat the Angels 1-0. As we're moving into the deadline, some of the biggest buyers, Dodgers, despite having the best record in baseball, Los Angeles is expected to pursue pitching depth because of injuries and workload concerns. They also have one of the deepest farm systems in Major League Baseball to make a deal. Basic question with the Dodgers is Tarek Skubal. Phillies, another National League contender, expected to explore bullpen upgrades for an additional lineup depth for a postseason push. Yankees looking for offense, bullpen help, and possibly infield depth as they chase an AL playoff spot and hopefully the AL East. They need a lot. Red Sox 15-game win streak has shifted the club firmly into a buyer's mode rather than sellers. The focus is expected to be adding pitching. Potential sellers, I messed that up. Several clubs that have fallen out of contention. The Mets obviously rebuilding, expiring contracts, and big names we should see. Some big names circulating. Tarek Skubal, I don't think he gets moved. Mason Miller, I don't think he gets moved. I think they're going to have to give up too much for them. Also, what is AJ Preller doing? Gave up. If you trade Mason Miller this year, you better get a massive return because you just gave up Leo DeVries for Mason Miller. Just shipped him off to Oakland. He was the number one prospect in baseball at the time. So now you're shipping Mason Miller because you have no starting. They're looking for starting pitching depth that can help them right now. Luis Ariz, I think, is one that should get some heavy interest this year. Luis Ariz on the year is always doing his thing. Giants are out of contention right now, 22 games back. But Luis Ariz right now, 320. And he's added, playing serviceable defense at second base. I think that's a name that's going to get some heavy interest. Me being a Yankees fan, I want Luis Ariz. I've always loved Luis Ariz's game. I know he's not a power hitter and what you want, but I think he'd be a great guy who could set the table right at the top for the Yankees. This guy's, he works counts, he gets on base. He's a modern day Tony Gwynn. Never going to be nobody's Tony Gwynn, obviously, but he's modern day Tony Gwynn. Matt Chapman's another one. I don't think Chapman can get traded. He's got a lot of money on the deal. He's got a lot of money right on his contract, still 4 years, $100+ million. That he's Freddie Peralta should be available. What are the Mets going to do? Definitely, now we're nearing a lockout, and there might be a salary cap. Are the Mets going to try to ship them off because the Mets right now are way out of contention? I think Tarek Skubal's a long shot. Mason Miller, bullpen depth, lead closer, high leverage. I think he'll get a lot of interest. Luis Ariz, contact back, position flexibility. But he does want to play second base. He said he has changed. He really wants to play second base. His mentality is playing second base this year, not going back to first base. Always a premium. Starting pitching is a premium. Late in it, we'll see a lot of relievers. Teams in playoffs position are searching for versatile hitters. Will we see Tarek Skubal? I think it's a long shot. Joe Ryan, apparently the Twins have taken him off. Freddie Peralta, I think we might see Freddie Peralta get moved. Seth Lugo, possibly too, as the Royals start falling out of contention. Reed Detmers, I think, and Jose Soriano, two names the Angels should trade. They need to start the rebuild. I think they need to start the rebuild and start getting players. I think, first off, Gene Autry needs to sell the team, but that's a whole other conversation. But I think they need to start the rebuild, start getting going, maybe even start getting Mike Trout. Aroldis Chapman at one point probably was a high name on there. Very unlikely now. Luis Arise will be a name. Jeremy Pena will be a name with the even though the Astros technically still in contention, Jeremy Pena, Ryan Jeffers will have a lot there. I think Ryan Jeffers will have a lot of suitors, get a premium starting catcher. I think the long shot. I think the Yankees are going to be heavily in on Jeffers. They definitely need a strong starting catcher. Austin Wells does a good job catching a game, but I don't think his bat can get it done. Get another right. They need another right-handed bat. And Hunter Goodman. I think he's a long shot because he's still got 3 years of control. But he'd be another name whose road home splits for a guy who plays in Colorado. His road splits he's better on the road than at home, which is very surprising. Expect Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, Phillies, Dodgers to be very aggressive. Luis Arise, C.J. Abrams is one dynamic young shortstop. If the club decides to make him available for a blockbuster move, I think that would be an interesting move for some teams. Guy who can play shortstop, probably more a second baseman, but has that flexibility. Willie Adames, veteran power hitting shortstop who has drawn interest from contenders. Brian Buxton, biggest position player name on many trade boards thanks to his elite defense, speed, and power, but he does have no trade clause. Would a team like, say, if they're falling out of contention, would a team like the Braves go and get him? And he's from Georgia. Would a homecoming get him going? Taylor Ward, right-handed power bat who fits many contenders. And Baltimore is solely out of contention right now. Austin Slater, valuable platoon outfielder, postseason experience. One name who has surfaced, I don't see happening because he's young, is Francisco Alvarez, young catcher whose name has surfaced in trade discussion because of his upside. Maybe first baseman Ty France, reliable right-handed bat who could fit a contender needing infield depth. I'm going by position players. I think Buxton won. Abrams, I'd probably go Abrams more a 5. Pena, I'd probably give a 2. At the top, Luis Arise would be my Buxton will rise. I mean, Arise is probably gone. Let's whip around the league real quick. Still 0-0 with the Yankees. Dodgers 2-1. Wish that game was on TV, but it's not. Twins 7-3 over the Guardians. Rays 1-1 against the Blue Jays. Orioles still up 4-0. Braves 1-0. I want to know, now I'm looking now, and I know this might rub some people the wrong way, but right now, going into the All-Star break, the Marlins were hot. In third place in that wild card third place slot. Now they've lost 8 in a row. What are we going to see from them? Is this the time we move Sandy Alcantara, who 10 wins on the year, 10-5, 3.89 ERA? That could move a lot. Which if Scooble's not going anywhere, Sonny Gray's not going anywhere. The pitching market is starting to get thinner. Joe Ryan is not going anywhere, as the Twins have mentioned. I mean, if you're looking at the starting pitchers, I don't think Scooble's going anywhere. Joe Ryan, as they said, is going to stay put. The Twins don't want to trade him. Freddie Peralta uh, would probably be the biggest guy on the market. Would I think Sandy Alcantara, 10-5 a year, 389 could get you a lot of return. I don't know how that would sit with the Marlin fan base, but that's a team that's got really hot and now is looking like they're falling out of a little contention. That could get you a big return. All right, let's go percentages players get traded. Luis Ariz, I think is high, 80 to 85%. Taylor Ward, I think is high to 80%. Hunter Goodman, I think it's close to 25%. Ryan Jeffers, 75%. Austin Slater's an interesting name. Struggling with the Yankees, but has really got good with the White Sox there. Is starting to turn it on. I'd say it's probably 60, 55 to 60% as the White Sox turn it around. CJ Abrams, 25%, but that's going to be a big blockbuster deal. Jeremy Pena, maybe. Best bets to be moved. Luis Ariz, elite bat, affordable, and fits every contender. One of the most frequently mentioned players in every deadline discussion. Taylor Ward, right-handed power bat, is always in demand, making him a likely everyday player to change teams. And Ryan Jeffers, a starting caliber catcher, is scary. Making him a logical target if Minnesota sells. I want, personally, it's me, Yankees. I don't think they get Mason Miller. If go back to that tap with the Yankees. If you, instead of going for the Padres and get Mason Miller, I'd go for because they're going to need Marhan. I go for Lisa Rise, and I want Ryan Jeffers, Hunter Goodman, or Dylan Dingler would be my biggest wish. I don't think it happens. I want Jeffers and a relief pitcher for sure. You need to get Ryan Jeffers. Right now, I don't know, Salvador Perez tied for most home runs in Royals history with George Brett. It's a hell of a name to be up there with. He's not even on. I'm giving it like crap at the end. I'm running out of things. Talking to myself, I'm sorry. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to the Bradenton Marauders game, which is the single A affiliate, of the Pirates. I think there's going to be a lot of scouts in there. I used to scout, so that should be fun. A lot of scouts are scouting those two teams for younger guys. Should be a lot there. Should be fun. But remember, next week, trade deadline special show, Wednesday, 7:30. Myself, Vince Sammys from Vince TV and from here on FTSN. Braves fan Josh Wingate's going to come on, who does the, I think it's on the clock draft show, if I'm correct. If Bobby will definitely correct me if I'm wrong on that. Phillies fan and I was right. And Alex from East 10th Street Boys. So make sure to tune in there. That will be a very good show next week. But want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight for another episode On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. Have a great night.